Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another Spider-Man action figure review. And today we're taking a look at the brand new Mafex Spider-Man No Way Home Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, aka Toby Macguire Spidey. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. Starting off with the packaging. Through the window, you are able to see the figure itself, along with the accessories. Up front, we get a little bit of artwork. It says Spider-Man No Way Home, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Mafex, all that good stuff. On the side of the box, it says Spider-Man No Way Home, and then we get a look at the figure. Down here, we get a bunch of bullshit. On this side, we get another look at the figure, and then on the back, we get a look at what the figure is capable of, along with some of the accessories. And yeah, man, this is looking pretty damn good. This is definitely one of the best on-screen costumes for Spider-Man. So it's kind of surprising that we don't have more action figure options. Figure Arts put out one last year, and so did Marvel Legends. But aside from that, there's not a whole lot to choose from if you want a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. So yeah, I'm really excited about this figure, but enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get this guy out and take a look. Alrighty, so right out of the box, Spider-Man is looking really good. They did a great job with the sculpting and all the details. All the web lines look nice. The spider logo on the chest looks good. The head looks good. Yeah, man, this is a great looking Spider-Man figure. The only thing that kind of jumped out to me as far as the look goes is I do feel like the waist area is it's a little big, this waist diaper thing. It's a little big, but it's not too bad. The more that I look at it, the less that it bothers me. But at first, out of the box, I was like, wow, this is kind of interesting. I think they left a lot of space in there so that you can move the waist around a lot. So, the payoff is worth it, definitely. But yeah, on first glance, I was like, man, this is kind of big. As you can see here, there's a little bit of a gap. But, the more that I look at it, the more I get used to it. So it's fine. Yeah, I think overall, he's a really good looking figure. He's a little on the stumpy side. Is that I don't even is that appropriate to say? I don't know. He's a little on the short side, but it's a really great looking figure. You know what I love about Mafex is that they kind of remind me of Toy Biz. They kind of feel like what Toy Biz would have become if they stuck around and stayed on the path that they were on. That's the kind of vibe I get from Mafex. So yeah, I think this is a great looking figure. And the joints all feel really good. The only joint that gave me a little bit of problem was the upper neck joint, and it was just a little too tight and it was kind of bugging me, so I did drop a little bit of oil in there and now it's fine. But aside from that one joint, everything else has been really good. The joints have like a perfect amount of tension to them. Like they're solid enough to where they're not flopping around whatsoever, but you can move them with no problem. Like look at this. That's pretty crazy right there. And then, the knee bends with no issue. So that's really nice. So they did a great job with all the tension on the joints and just the overall feel. It's a really good feeling figure when you're messing around with it. So yeah, right out of the box, I'm very impressed with this guy. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at the details because they really went all out with the amount of detail that they put into the costume here. And I think they did a fantastic job with the details on Spider-Man, starting off at the head. There's not a whole lot to say. It's just a really good looking Spider-Man head sculpt. I think they did a nice job with this. The eyes look good. You can see that they're like a slightly different color silver than the web lines are, so that's nice. Speaking of the web lines, they're sculpted and painted, and just look how perfectly executed that is. I didn't see any areas where that paint didn't hit the sculpt perfectly. I'm sure there's somewhere on here where it's a little off, but for the most part, it's like perfectly done. That's pretty insane. Look at that, man. Really dope. And that carries on throughout the whole figure. Like, the web lines are really nice. Oh, maybe there's one small imperfection there? I don't know. It looks really good. Check out the spider on the chest there. That looks nice. And look at the texture that we see on the red and on the blue. Look at the texture in there. So really good stuff. Man, those web lines are just really impressive. And on the back, he has the spider logo that looks pretty good, but it is broken up by the articulation. But, that's the name of the game. Not a big deal. And yeah, like I said, the waist piece is a little big, but again, it bugs me less and less. So after a while, I won't even be thinking about it. Check out the texture right there. Again, some more really impressive line work down here on the feet. And yeah, man, just a beautiful looking figure. Like the fact that they were able to hit all these web lines so perfectly just kind of blows my mind. And then I just love all the texture on him. It's a really great looking figure. I think they did a phenomenal job with the sculpting and the details on him. And then for accessories, he comes with a bunch of cool stuff, including a shitload of hands. So first off, we have a pair of fists. We have a set of wide open wall crawling hands, a pair of thwip hands, a set of loose gripping hands that can also work as just open relaxed hands, another set of open gripping hands, and then I guess these would be like saluting hands, right? Or something. I just imagine him going, yep, just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and then doing that gesture with his hands. But yeah, these are cool. And then he has a set of pointer fingers, so he could be like, hey, you, get off of my cloud. And then he does have a set of hands and a set of feet that have magnets in them. And the Mafex magnets aren't like the strongest thing ever, but if you could get all 6 magnets onto a surface, it'll definitely hold without him sliding off or falling off or anything like that. So yeah, magnets are always fun on figures. And then he does come with 2 unmasked Toby Macguire Peter Parker head sculpts. And you know, I've heard a lot of negative things about these head sculpts, and I don't understand why, because I think both of these came out really good. Starting off with this one, you could see that he has like a serious facial expression, but to me, this looks exactly like Toby Maguire. I'm not sure what people wanted, but look at that, man. That's a great looking head sculpt. And they did a really nice job with the skin tone and stuff. The eyes look good. There's some variation to the skin color, so it doesn't look like just ugly plastic, you know? The hair doesn't have a whole lot going on, but it does the job. But yeah, I don't know what people are complaining about with these head sculpts. I think they look really good. And then for the second head sculpt, we have Peter Parker with the big old cheesy smile. And again, I think this looks good. To me, it looks accurate to what Tobey Maguire looks like in the films. This facial expression is kind of crazy. He looks like it's a forced smile or something. But it works. Because I think, again, that kind of works for Tobey Maguire. You know? So yeah, I like this. I think both of the unmasked head sculpts are really well done. Let me know in the comments, what is it that you don't like about these head sculpts? Or if you like them, let me know in the comments as well, because I'm just curious to see what people have to say about these head sculpts. And obviously, we do get the neck piece that has the flesh showing, and we only get one of those. So you have to change out the unmasked heads at the upper neck. And yeah, man, I think they did a good job with these. And then he does have this thing. And to be honest with you, I don't even remember what the hell this is. I'm not the biggest fan of No Way Home. In fact, I don't think I like that movie at all. When I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. But the more I think about it and, you know, the more time goes by, I'm just like, I don't like it. It's not for me. But anyways, I can't remember exactly what this is for. It's some kind of weapon to do some bullshit, multiverse, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, like he's able to hold on to it with the bigger gripping hand, just like the mask. It's not like the tightest grip, so it can fall off if you hit it or something, but you could get it in there. And the accessory itself has some good detail and it's well sculpted. It's like a softer plastic, so you don't have to worry about it breaking. That's always nice. And yeah, that's cool. It's cool that they threw in like something different than the typical stuff we see with Spider-Man, even though it's not something I necessarily care about. I'm sure people that want this figure because of the movie will be happy to get this. And then he does come with a display stand, and pretty much all Mafex figures come with the same stand, but I rarely talk about it because I don't even use them. But the stands are nice. As you can see, there's like a base and then an articulated arm, and then this one here comes with like 3 different clip options. We have this one here that's like half a hook, this one that's, I guess it's like a bigger hook, or no, it's like a rounded kind of clamp, and then this one isn't like perfectly round. So, you know, we have a couple of different options, and you know, display stands are always nice. So it's cool that they included this. And I just realized that it also comes with an additional post that doesn't have any articulation. So that's another option for this stand. And if you're a fan of my channel, then you know that I hate to take shortcuts on any part of the review, but I don't feel like talking about these webs because these suck. We've seen these pretty much with every other Mafex Spider-Man figure, and it's definitely time to change. But he has 2 like swinging type of webs, and then 4 like, you know, web shooting type of effects, 2 short ones and 2 long ones. So yeah, they need to update the webbing when it comes to their Spider-Man figures, because everything else is awesome except for this. And then lastly, he comes with one of these Doctor Strange open portal effects, and this is pretty cool. I can't remember if Mafex has included one of these effects with any of their previous figures. This may be the first time. I could be wrong on that. I know that Figure Arts has included these a couple of times, but yeah, these are dope. If you have like a couple of them and you have them on display with the characters in front of them, it can look pretty nice. And yeah, this is well done. It's got like a fiery yellow look to it. And then, you know, on the inside there, it kind of has like a lighter color, and then it gets like a little, you know, like darker, but like translucent as it comes out on the outside. So that's nice. And it stands up like with no issue at all. So it's a pretty cool effect. And yeah, I think overall they did a pretty good job with the accessories on Spider-Man. Everything is cool. Like there's a bunch of different hands, which is awesome. The three different heads are great. And I liked it. They included some things that were specific to the movie, even though I don't care about them. It's still pretty cool. And I like the loose mask that he comes with. So yeah, overall, lots of good stuff there. And I'm a little surprised by how small the Mafex Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is. I don't really mind it, but it just kind of caught me off guard how he's smaller than both the Figure Arts version and the Marvel Legends version. Usually Mafex figures are bigger than Figure Arts, but that's not the case here. I don't really care though. It's all good. I do like the size of this figure as is. And, when it comes to comparing this figure to other versions of him, I think that him and the Figure Arts version are pretty close. So I'm going to have to do a comparison video between these two to find out which one I really like more. But I think both of these figures are good, and they are both way better than the Legends version. Seeing him next to them makes makes this one kind of look ridiculous. I'm not a big fan of this figure at all, so I don't think I'm going to include him in the comparison. I'm going to have these two go head to head. Let me know in the comments which one of these guys you think is better, the Mafex or the Figure Arts. And then here we have him alongside the Mafex Far From Home Spider-Man and the SH Figure Arts Iron Spider. And I think that these two scale pretty well together, so that's good to see. And then here we have him alongside the Mafex Endgame Captain America and the SH Figure Arts Avengers Assemble Iron Man Mark 6. And I think that Spider-Man looks really good next to the both of them. And then here we have him alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Across the Spider-Verse Miles Morales Spider-Man. On the opposite side, we have the Sentinel Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales Spider-Man. And then here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man and the Mafex Classic Comic Book Spider-Man. And then, of course, we have to have him alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and the Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. And then here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Secret Wars Black Suit Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends War Journal Punisher. I would love to see Mafex re-release this Spider-Man in black. Hasbro just announced their, Spider-Man 3 Black Suit Spider-Man, and, I'm probably going to pass on that one. So hopefully Mafex gets around to it eventually. Here he is with the SH Figure Arts movie Deadpool and SH Figure Arts Ant-Man. And then next we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Andrew Garfield No Way Home Spider-Man. On the opposite side, we have one of the many Iron Spider-Man figure releases from Hasbro. I'm not sure exactly which one this is. It's one of the early ones, I know that. And then last but not least, here we have Spider-Man alongside my original character, Odious. If you're sick of Spider-Man figures, go buy an Odious figure. I have a link to that in the description below. On the opposite side, we have the NECA Mirage Comics Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Kirby, aka the King Jack Kirby. Another reason why I dig this figure so much is because it reminds me of this old school Toy Biz Toby Macguire Spider-Man. And this thing is still awesome, but it's very old. So as you can see, he's like flopping around. He could barely stand up. Let's see if we could get him to stand up. The hips are super loose. There we go. So yeah, this new one obviously looks different and the costume details are not exactly the same, but as soon as I opened this figure up, it reminded me of this, and I've always liked this figure. So yeah, a little bit of a nostalgia kind of action going on there. And Mafex always does a great job with the articulation on their Spider-Man figures, and this guy's no exception. He has all the joints that we've come to expect from Mafex. So yeah, they absolutely killed it, and I'm having a good time messing around with this figure. But let's go ahead and see what we have going on here, starting off at the head and the neck. So he does have articulation at the lower neck and at the upper neck. So using both of those, we get some crazy tilting action. Look at that. So that is nice. Do that on both sides. Not quite as far this way, but really good this way. And then he's able to look up to about right there, which was kind of surprising. I didn't think that it would look up that much. So that's cool. Then it could look down to right there, which again, that's really good. And then he could look side to side. So really nice movement at the head and the neck area. And then for the torso, he does have one of my favorite torso setups, and that would be a ball joint at the diaphragm and at the waist joint. Using both of those, he's able to crunch forward to right there, and I kind of feel like this is more forward movement that we've seen on some previous Spider-Man figures from Mafex, so that's cool. And then we get some, side-to-side action with this diaphragm joint and, ball joint at the waist combination. It just works really well. You can move this guy all the way around, do all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, I like what we have going on here with the torso. And then, you can spin right here at the diaphragm, which is cool because that's not always the case when we see this type of setup. And then you could also spin at the waist. Oh, it's a little tight right in there, so I'm going to be careful. But, with Mafex figures, it's funny. Like, out of the box, things could feel good, but, give it a little bit of time, and then things kind of get a little spooky. So I'm going to be careful with that joint there. You hear it squeaking? Oh, geez. I might have to drop some oil in there. But, yeah, really good stuff here at the torso. And then for the arms, he does have like these cool Mafex butterfly shoulder joints, you know, and these are very nice. And I like what they did here. You could kind of press them in and, you know, they could sit like flush, but then you could bring them out to increase the range. And like the range on these butterfly joints is crazy. Look how far you could get his arm around. You could get both arms around like that. Like that's crazy right there. I don't remember. I mean, Mafex shoulders are always good, but are they this good? This is dope. And then let's see. His arms could go, when you have them like extended, you could get them back a really good amount. So that's nice, you know, for all those awesome punching poses. Man, he could get into some crazy punching poses with these shoulders. So yeah, they did a really great job with these butterfly joint type of shoulders. And then you can swing his arm all the way around. You could bring them up to the side a really good amount, especially with those shifting shoulders. And then he does have upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow that bends to right there. So that's pretty good. He has a ball joint at the wrist, and you know, you could hinge that, spin it around, do whatever you need to do. And then for the legs, he does have drop down hips that allow his legs to go way up. Ooh, look at that. Bam. So that's nice. Bring his legs out to the side a really good amount. And then he does have, you know, a little bit of an upper thigh swivel in there. He has double jointed knees that get a good bend. And then at the ankle, he has a ball joint and then a hinge. And then, of course, rocking ankles and a toe hinge. So really good articulation on this guy. As always, you know, Mafex always kills it when it comes to the articulation. They know what they're doing. Pretty much all their figures have like maximum posability, and it really shines on their Spider-Man figures. They always do a great job on these. So yeah, I'm very happy with the articulation on this guy. I'm definitely having a lot of fun playing around with this figure, and I'm gonna have to drop one little drop of oil in there because you hear that? That's scary. It's weird. It's weird with Mafex because right out of the box, everything was cool except for the neck joint. It felt good. And then just right now, as I was doing the articulation, I started to hear that squeaking and it got tight, or I don't know if it's the temperature in the room or what the hell's going on. But yeah, that's a weird thing that happens with Mafex figures. So I always advise that you guys should keep some type of oil handy to, you know, prevent any type of breakage. Anyways, as far as the articulation goes, they killed it like they always do. And if anyone's curious as to what oil I use, this is what I have. I'm sure there's a lot of different options, but you know, I use this stuff. I've been using it for years and I like it quite a bit. It has an applicator on there, so it makes it easy to apply. But let's go ahead and throw some in there. So yeah, let me show you. Like I said, super tight, very scary. I could see the joint in there, so I could just get in there with the applicator. Just drop a little bit. Only thing that sucks is you never know if it's coming out when it's like deep in there, you know? And then boom, there you go. Easy money. And then I'll get a Q-tip to clean up any excess oil if there's any in there. Looks like I'm all right. Yeah, I don't see any dripping out or anything. Man, this sounds a nasty conversation, huh? But yeah, there we go. Look at that. See how nice it works now? So easy money. I'll leave a link to this stuff in the description below. But yeah, this stuff is a lifesaver, man. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I think this is a really dope figure. Surprise, surprise, once again, Mafex did an amazing job on a Spider-Man figure. I think they killed it all the way around. At this point, whenever they come out with the Spider-Man figure, we just automatically assume that it's going to be like the best thing ever. They always kill it with Spider-Man figures. They've kind of built up that reputation. Almost every single time they do a version of Spider-Man, it turns out to be like the best figure of that version, or it's at least in the conversation, you know. So they always do Spider-Man figures at a very high level, and this guy is no exception. I love what we have going on here, from the articulation to the details to the accessories. Everything turned out good. The articulation on him is crazy. He's a whole lot of fun to play with, and I really like the fact that it seems like they actually improved in some areas of the articulation, because they've always done a good job on articulation. So the fact that they were already kind of operating at a high level, but they're still trying to improve, is really nice to see. for him, I feel like the torso gets more movement than we've seen on a lot of other Spider-Man figures, and same thing with the shoulders. So that's really nice to see those type of improvements. And as far as the sculpt, the design, and the paint and all that goes, they killed it, man. The amount of texture that he has on his suit is very impressive. All the paint is very clean, and the figure just looks nice. I like the unmasked heads, although I have seen some complaints about them. I'm not sure where those complaints are coming from. To me, these unmasked heads look exactly like Toby Macguire, so I like them. And then as for the rest of the accessories, I love all the hands that he comes with. I like that he comes with one of those portals. Those things are really nice if you want to set up like a display with a bunch of characters coming through the portals. You have that option. The only thing I don't like in the accessories are the webs. We've seen these same webs on pretty much every Mafex Spider-Man figure, so I would like to see them change that up because these are kind of boring. But aside from that, I love all the accessories that he comes with, the hands, the magnetic feet, all of that is a whole lot of fun. So yeah, man, just overall, I think that Mafex killed it, and I knew they would. When I saw the promo images for this guy, I thought he looked amazing, and I knew it was going to be good because Mafex rarely disappoints when it comes to Spider-Man. So yeah, I like this guy quite a bit. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.